Hello everybody, this is Billy Cultist. Today instead of Jimmy Cultist, Jimmy's taking a little break this time around, but I'm in here to show you something special. Today, what I'm gonna cover is something super basic. For that, we're gonna get into paint mode and start preparing ourselves for the journey ahead. But basically, we're going to cover walk cycle, a really basic walk cycle in animation. I'm going to do a simple 8 frames. Today we're in Dreams on the PlayStation 5, but for anybody who's watching this, came in for the title or whatever, this is really kind of a universal thing that could be applicable in many different creative engines or suites or what have you. Because, animating a walk cycle just could be all around useful. And that's really what I'm going to go in on today, is just animating it. It's not so much about the distinctive mechanisms of Dreams today as it is just about the actual animation. I found recently that I was wanting to learn something about it myself due to game development interests of my own and Jimmy's, and I don't know, I just found it was somewhat difficult to find a good tutorial, and I took a while for me to get it down. So hopefully maybe this will help you if you're someone like me, and my style of demonstrating this will click for you and save you a whole lot of trouble. But we'd better go ahead and get into it. I'm going to draw it frame by frame, and then we'll play it back, and I'll kind of go over what's going on. It's going to be quite simple, nothing super duper fancy, just so you can see the important parts, I think, as a beginner. I will stress this is a very entry-level type, beginner type thing. I am no super, doctorate in animation type expert guy. So yeah, this is a layman's entry-level approach for all you other lay people like myself, but we're on frame 1 in Dreams paint thing, and it really helps if whatever you're using to do this, be it Dreams or not, has an option similar to this, onion skinning, which allows you to see the previous frame as sort of a reduced opacity layer to help guide you in your drawing. A lot of other applications have this as well, besides Dreams, but even in things like Photoshop and GIMP, you could sort of do this using layers and controlling the opacity. But we're going to start on frame 1. I'm going to make sure I've got this on draw straight lines. I'm going to do a very simple character, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start by doing the body, this is frame 1, by the way. Just going to do a block, and the block we're going to give arms and legs. So I'm going to start with an important frame in the animation, which I'm sure this has a professional term, but I don't know what it is right now. I'm just going to call it the spread or the stretch. And this is where the character's limbs, that is the arms and legs, are at their most extreme positions of distance or whatever. As you can see he's I think they may call this the impact in the real thing. I don't know. Find a super expert for that, but... And basically, this is the leg on the other side, and this is the most forefront leg. We are doing this in a 2D side-scrolling dimension this time, but the principles would work the same pretty much in 3D for the movement. We're not going to be going into some of the more depthful things, like, especially on this simple character. On a more complex character, you might get into, like, a hip sway, and there's, like, motion between the shoulders and hips. It could be visible in the torso, but since this character is very simple, it's just going to kind of be up and down motion, and the legs and arms swinging. So as we've got this leg going back in this frame of the stretch, we will then be putting the arm in, and because that forward leg is going back like that, the arm on this side will be going forward in opposition. And because this background leg is going forward, you guessed it, the back arm in this frame, background arm, will be going back. And just to clean this up, make it more pretty, delete that and redraw it so we have that more distinct. So that's frame 1 out of the way. On to frame 2, and as you notice with the onion skinning, I can see what I did before. Now, we're now in a transitional frame, or pair of transitional frames, I guess, I don't know. We're going towards a frame called that I'm calling the pass. And as we do this, the character, we're going to adjust his height slightly. He's going to be rising. Now we bring this leg back, because we're pushing, see, on the ground, and that's what's propelling us forward when we walk. And this leg forward. And you probably already guessed what's going to happen with the arms. This one is going to start swinging back. And it's going to make a little bit of a mess for me, because I want that to look nice. But that's not a big deal. And this one, of course, is going to be coming forward. So that's our frame 2. And that's just a transitional frame. We are now headed into the actual another main important frame, which is, I called it before, the pass. And I'm going to explain, we're going to see why I called it the pass. Actually, I shouldn't be doing that. It's easier in this circumstance if I just draw the line. But for this one, again, I'm raising the character slightly. And at this point in the animation, the reason I'm calling it the pass is because this is the point where the legs and the arms are going to be both like right, you know, passing each other like right side by side. So this leg is coming, you know, right through like that. And I'm going to have to work on that, of course, because yeah, we don't want that. So we'll just redo that on the other side, like the arm here. Right there. This is the most messy, the pass, because I gotta make sure all this stuff's cleaned up here. So really, I'm having to do these things again, but it's fine though. Hopefully this will help you out. And I won't even do the other arm because I figure they're just directly in opposition in this frame. For me, this stuff was very... I don't know, it just didn't click with me from anybody's tutorials that I found. So now on to frame 4. Now the pass is an important frame, like the stretch. So we're out of it, and what we're doing now is we're going to start our transition. Oh, actually, let me redraw that line because it seems like it needs to be there. But we're going to start our transition back to another stretch. And this time, the stretch is going to end up with the foreground leg doing the impacting. But as we transition back towards another stretch, you probably guessed this already, but we're going to have the character begin to fall as this occurs. Here's this foreground leg moving again. Actually, I'll try that again. Let's see. We'll raise it way up there. I don't know. Why not? It's kind of weird, but, you know, we're dealing with kind of a cartoony, simplistic character here. We can afford it. And this back leg and foot begins to use its power of traversal to lose all importance as it leaves the ground. Now, let me go back a frame to reconstitute, figure out. Okay. And because this is going forward, this foreground limb, we will be drawing the arm in the foreground back. Gotta get rid of that and re-establish it so that it doesn't go through our arms, so things look cleaner. And that of course means that the other one, I guess you just see this little kind of hand this side, because that arm's swinging forward, as you might have already expected. So now we have hit another stretch. And as it is the stretch, the character's height will reduce once more to the lowest level. This foreground leg will come down. And this background leg will be leaving the ground. I'm gonna reiterate again, this is a very simplistic animation. Very, very simplistic. I'm not paying a lot of attention to things like, you know, keeping the arm length, you know, nice and super consistent. It's very wonky. But there we go. Fixed that up. And of course, in opposition, this other arm will be out like that. Now, since that is the stretch in that direction, what we're going to be working back towards is what we started with, which I believe we started with the stretch where this leg was in back, and this one was in front. So we're going to work towards that. So for the next frame, we start to rise up again. And this foreground leg starts to come closer to the center, to the pass. Transitions closer, and this background leg starts to return. For the next time, it's going to be impacting. This arm, we can raise it up a little bit as the torso is raised, starts to come back. Let me fix that. As per usual. And this one on the other side does the same, although it's not as visible because the torso is blocking it. Cue up all the jokes. Yes, yes. Now, we move on to the pass. Thank you, Dreams. And of course, for the pass, we rise up again to the highest level. This leg is now straight in the middle. Probably not completely straight, but you know. This background one is crossing over. Nice and clean. And the arm passing right across, as it should do. Of course, I'm going to get rid of these so I can make sure it's all nice and clean. And there is our second pass. And now we have one last frame that will complete the cycle. Because our first frame was the stretch with this guy out front, this guy in back. And so, one last transitional frame where he will be falling back to our first stretch. And we take this leg, bring it back, Still touching the ground there. And this one comes up to do a maneuver kind of like that last time we did with that other one, which was kind of, I don't know, goofy looking, I don't know. Something like that. And then this arm, well, not all the way because we're transitioning, so. And then gonna get rid of that so that we can clean it up. And there's the back arm swinging back. And that should be it. That is the 8th frame. Now to find out how we did, we'll get out of the painting and I'm going to press play. And as you can see, we've got something like a workable, nice walk cycle. Looks like kind of a brisk, stompy, marching walk from this quick guy. But you can see, we can actually speed that up a little bit in Dreams by opening this and increasing the frame rate there. And that looks much more smoother. Now, what I just demonstrated, that's basically how you deal with the walk cycle in the most basic format. Of course, as I said before, there are extra things that things get more complex when you're dealing with, I don't know, say if you were doing a human, realistic looking character doing this, you'd have hip motion and shoulder motion and different things that would come into play. There's also other things that come into play, like the tilt of the character, you know, the character's carriage as they walk, you know, to communicate a mood or something. That's all extra detail, but what we've gone over today has been very basic, and as I said before, this is useful for in Dreams, but it's also useful for all kinds of other applications that allow animation and walk cycles. So a lot of other game engines, this would probably be useful knowledge in terms of just the frames and how things look and the order. And, you know, animation applications as well, I would think. Hopefully, this has helped you out to understand this. Now, say you wanted a more smooth walk or maybe a run, like a dash. Those things would use the same principle, just, you know, you would apply them a little bit differently, like for a walk that's smoother and not as stompy, you know. The stretch frames, for example, would not be as extreme, like the legs would not be as stompy and extreme in those frames. This guy has been given very extreme limb configuration in the frames just for demonstration purposes. I might consider making successive videos about this subject where I might attempt things like a dash just to show you, or a more smooth, relaxed walk if you'd like, in the same manner, possibly, depending. But that is about it, and all I wanted to say on that topic. If you enjoyed what you just watched and found it helpful, we would appreciate very much if you would subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already, and give this video a like and turn on the notification bell when you subscribe so you can always know when we have new stuff. We got a lot of subscribers that don't, according to the analytics, see our stuff, which is a shame. Also, there is a link in the description for going to our coffee to give us support, help us feed the little animals. We're also working on getting YouTube memberships set up. That's going to take a little time, probably, but we are working on that. Anyway, have a great day. I hope this was helpful. This has been Billy Cultist. Bye-bye.